Hello everyone. So I posted a video last night of a reading on the Titan and I didn't even know it was called the Titan when I did that reading. And I didn't post it. I made it yesterday morning, very early. Karen was like right there in my lap on the bed, drinking my coffee, and I did the reading. And a lot of what I channeled made sense later on when I read the news. However, then, I didn't post it initially because I didn't like the judgmental tone. However, I was channeling. It wasn't quite my opinion. It was that of the energy of the Titanic and the people who, in the word perish, had perished there, in the wreckage. So I decided, in honor of that, I went ahead and posted it. And the overwhelming thing that I got was, that it's gone. It's just gone. And that even by the time I made that reading yesterday morning, they were already gone. So then I wait all day and then I post it, go to bed and wake up like 1 in the morning and I see that they're saying that they're hearing bangs in the ocean, and they think that could be them calling out for help somehow. So then I think, well, the universe can humble me. I can be completely wrong about this reading, and I'll be happy to be wrong. I'll be happy if they're still alive and they get rescued in the nick of time and there's a miraculous capture. I will so be happy to be wrong. Yeah. But I don't, I don't think I am. I think that, someone said something on one of the articles I read, and that when the Malaysian flight went missing, that they heard strange sounds too that kind of led them on different goose, chases for rescue missions. But it ended up being their own ship. It ended up being random sounds that were not the flight, the missing airplane. And something tells me that's probably what's happening here. What's really amazing is, so that submarine is called the Titan. And if you know Titanic history, lore, before the Titanic was even made, there was a book called The Wreck of the Titan. And it had all the stats, the details, the length of the ship, the weight, how many people could board, how many people died. It hit an iceberg. The ship went down. They said it was unsinkable. It was like a message from the universe warning us not to build a ship like this and not to ignore all the, like icebergs and, cutting corners on safety measures and provisions on the ship to keep people safe. Don't do things like separate by class and some people get to live and get on lifeboats and others don't. Provide enough lifeboats and et cetera, et cetera. But of course we don't. Typically, we don't listen to warnings like that. We just like to learn the lesson of whatever that, I don't know. But this has all of that written on it. And when, everything, because what I channeled yesterday, and I was like, I don't know how this is possible, but something about the fire inside. Well, they said something about oxygen. So that could cause a fire. If the controls go weird, and the oxygen, it kind of reminds me of Apollo 13 too. But they got out of that. You just never know. You can see I'm having trouble talking about this because I want to manifest a miracle for them, but I also feel like already that it's already gone. I mean, they're gone. And the most kindest, compassionate thing would be to wish that they've already perished and they're not going to suffocate, explode, etc. That's not still ahead of them. And obviously they would be miserable right now being stuck in that. If they are still alive, they would be absolutely insane with misery and hunger and everything else, and fear. I do think they're gone. But just the things like them rushing the launch, having rich people pay for tickets, instead of allowing. But this isn't the only thing. See, Bezos and people like that, they've done this. And look at 45 after he was arrested. What does he do? He has $100,000 plate tickets to his resort so that people can help pay for his campaign and legal fees and all that. And it's just weird how people will do that and not care about homeless people. And it's not, people have to learn to care. You can't force people to care. But it's just weird how it's weird. It's the same, I've always felt like, because I've always been a Titanic enthusiast, I've always felt like the biggest lesson of the Titanic, the reason why the universe allowed that tragedy to happen, was to point out class disparities, rich, poor, how we treat people if they have money and people who don't have money, and that we are not to treat each other like that. And that was the whole lesson of the Titanic. And also, don't laugh in the face of fate. Don't laugh in the face of the gods. Don't say we're unsinkable and we're the greatest and nothing bad can happen. And I mean, don't laugh in the face of, don't tempt fate. Don't tempt fate. And yet we did it again. And that was the message I channeled yesterday, mostly from the ship itself, like the energy of the ship itself from the Titanic. Remember what it said? It was like the people who died there, like, how dare you? How dare you do this again? How dare you come out down here with such disrespect? And the worst thing was, and it made me laugh, which is bad. I have a macabre sense of when things are really tragic. My first reaction is to laugh, and I know that's a weird survival technique that a lot of us have. And then I go, oh my God, that's not appropriate. But it's a weird thing that I have. And I've seen my son does that too. And we don't mean any disrespect, but it's a weird way to sort of process information, tragic information. And then we work through it afterwards. But the first initial reaction is this macabre sense of humor. It's weird. Have you ever seen someone when they get bad news and then they start laughing and then they start crying? It's that type of thing. So I got that message yesterday of karmic retribution, tit for tat, taking prisoners, and it made me laugh, but it's like not funny. Anyway, so yeah, are they going to find them? No. I mean, the thing is, I've tried to ask Spirit, if they are still alive, when would they find them? And they're not going to see, there I go again. They're not going to find them. And I could be totally wrong, and this is for entertainment purposes only, but, I'm getting cards like, to me, this is an obvious card, death, right? And look at the water. Look at the blue. You see how it looks like he's submerged in the water. The other thing was the Fool card. The Fool card is my sign of death because it's entry into a new life, into the other side. The Hanged Man, submerged in the water, perhaps they got caught up on a reef somewhere, and they're stuck inside. Maybe something happened, like one of the connections outside of the submarine was yanked off by something, and it caused catastrophic destruction inside the submarine. I think the big thing also, that karmic justice, which is sad, is, pardon my nails, I'm earthy, remember? I do a million dishes, and then I do things outside in the garden, and I'll never have nice nails, never. I try. It doesn't last. It's almost like I repel nice nail polish, and it just ships off. So please pardon me. What was the other thing? The fire. Remember I talked about a fire. But also that to me is speed. They moved ahead too fast. They didn't follow regulation. They were greedy. They were in their ego, the guy, and maybe more, but mostly the guy who who owned the program. And he was being sued apparently by someone who told him it was dangerous, and they wanted their money back for tickets because they refused to go down. It was smart of them. And he didn't listen. So his ego, his pride, his greed. And that's the same thing that happened on the Titanic. It's the same thing. Another card, cutting costs. Cutting costs. Money man cutting costs. Well, it doesn't have his money now. I hate to say that, but that's, you know, this is the initial card, the Seven of Cups in reverse. Hopes and dreams. It didn't come true. The water. Items in the water. Maybe they're going to find items. Maybe that's what's going to happen. They're going to find pieces of the submarine in the water at some point. I have the Tower. I have the King of Swords in reverse. Someone who's indignant and that caused a Tower, and the Temperance would again be the fire, and also the imbalance of the ship in the water. And I talked about this imbalance of temperatures in the water and a really bad time of year to send a submarine down, because the water is and the temperatures are unstable. So, I mean, it's interesting how everybody's so obsessed with this right now, kind of like the Titanic itself. It's that same feeling. And in fact, it's like a repeat. It happened again. It's so weird. And that's what they said, let it not happen again. Don't do this again. I don't think they're around. I'll say it again. I think it's gone. And this program will have to end from now on. The way to do it will be, I mean, don't be foolhardy. Come at it the right way. Safety procedures, absolutely. People have been going down there for many years, decades now, but with extreme safety measures. But for learning purposes, for the common Joe, make it so that it's something. We have VR now. You could have somebody, like a classroom of kids and they send a robot sort of drone submarine with no men in it, no women. No, when I say men, I mean human, basically men, women. I'm just using that term. It's a masculine term for like the mechanics. I don't mean any disrespect. Obviously, I'm a woman, so I don't mean disrespect. And mostly men have manned those submarines that have, you know, so that's why I'm saying men. But have like a unmanned robotic submarine go down, scan the ship live. Kids in classrooms get to watch the live broadcast. People could pay pay-per-view. Well, they don't have pay-per-view anymore, but cable, you know, or have it in a movie theater. You could, you know, make a live video and show it on, you know, in movie theaters. I would go see it, but don't be foolhardy. Stop this $100,000, $200,000 per ticket vanity. And yeah, this whole thing, they don't like it. Those spirits in the Titanic do not like it. People thought it was disrespectful when we kept going down there and taking things. That's not as disrespectful when we treat the items with respect and restore them and use them to teach children, teach future generations what happened, why this happened, right? Why it happened. Greed. That's why it happened. Greed and laughing in the face of gods, of fate, showing it's good for us once in a while to be humbled and know that we're just mere humans and we make mistakes and we shall not tempt fate. But also, if we are going to do grand things, we have that ability. Go to the moon, you know, go out to space. Do it with reverence and respect. Reach for the stars, but, you know, do it with respect. Know thy limits. Reach high, but know your limits. And that's the lesson. So you can take items from the Titanic and restore them and show them all over museums and things like that, books, to teach the lesson, to teach the culture that was back then, but do not repeat the mistakes. And we once again repeated the mistakes. It's weird how it happened. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Having said that, again, I'll say that I hope that there's a miracle and they find them, and that I'm completely wrong. I really, 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 really do. That would be okay with me. Anything else? No, I don't think so. I think that's it. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Bye.